Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Monday weather update. And we have a lot to cover over the coming days, mostly for New Zealand, a little bit for Tasmania as well, but mostly New Zealand is in the firing line. Look at this storm. Not very often you see a storm like that just west of New Zealand and east of Tassie, sitting out there in the southern Tasman Sea with the central air pressure getting down below what most ex-tropical cyclones have when they come down into our part of the world. So we're thankful that this is right out in the middle of the ocean and not right over the top of either us or Australia. But this is still a storm system. That's the reason why we've been seeing gale force winds in some areas. Now we've got the heavy rain and there are thunderstorms up here to the north as well. So there's quite a lot going on. So here are the thunderstorms at the time of us recording this in the mid to late morning on Monday. You can see quite a few of them to the north of New Zealand and one or two bubbling up further south as that rain band starts to slowly slide southwards. Now here's the predict wind map. Now this shows today going through to tomorrow. So here is the storm today dropping southwards, and by tonight it's moving further away from us. But behind that system is another one. And as we go through Tuesday, you'll see that storm system deepening out in the same place that this current storm is lying. So we've got another surge of windy weather coming through, but this time rather than it being northeasterly, it's going to be more north to northwesterly. And the South Island more impacted by this one because storm number 1 today is going from north to south. Storm number 2 coming in later tomorrow and Wednesday is going from the western side to the eastern side. So it is going to move in and over the country. So here we are at lunchtime Monday. Look at the air pressure, 959. That's one for the history books. We don't see storms that deep very often at all in this part of the world. Usually they're further to the south or way up in the tropics. So this is quite a deep low pressure zone, but like I say, it's tracking southwards. It's not coming into us, but a blustery day nonetheless in many parts of New Zealand. Here we are at lunchtime Tuesday. Now we've got the second low coming in behind it in the same place. Here is storm number 1. That's storm number 2. Storm number 1 on Tuesday starts to weaken. Storm number 2 starts to steal some of its energy, and then this system up here starts to deepen as well. Look at the airflow. Big, strong nor'westers coming through on Tuesday. So if it's not windy when you wake up, there's a fairly good chance it'll be windy by the time you go to bed. So here we are on Wednesday, 962. That's also very deep and low air pressure. We'll probably be seeing the main centres down here in Southland around the 970 hectopascal mark. If you head on over to ruralweather.co.nz, you can actually see hourly barometric pressure being forecast out for the next 10 days. So it'll show you how low IBM supercomputer is expecting you to go. But look at those winds on Wednesday, severe winds through a large portion of the South Island, Cook Strait and the lower North Island, heavy rain on the west coast, thunderstorms and dangerous marine conditions, dangerous beach conditions coming in as the storm moves on through. It's also stormy over in Tasmania. They've got the wintry southerly coming through. Snow on the mountains around Tasmania and the hilltops. Similar story in Victoria as that system just brushes past you and then it fades out around about Sydney, although Sydney may still have some windy, colder weather coming through for you. So Wednesday, that's quite a stormy day in the New Zealand area, and all the Met Service warnings and watches are now available on the Weather Watch website. This is also lunchtime Wednesday, showing the centre of that storm. Now the pink shading in the middle shows that the air pressure is right down to that 960 hectopascal mark. We don't normally see that up around New Zealand. Normally that's down here in the Southern Ocean. So that's why this one's a bit different, and it goes all the way up to the very top of the country, although you can see it kind of fades to the yellow up here. That means that the worst of the weather won't quite be up in that zone. The worst of it will be from the central part of the North Island southwards. So by Thursday, there is the storm system still very active right around Fiordland and Westland. Thankfully not a populated area, but that's where the storm is coming through. Big southerlies coming through, affecting places like Lord Howe Island, which is part of Australia just here, and big southerlies coming through for them and curving around for Norfolk Island and then down across New Zealand as a still fairly mild nor'wester. By Friday, we start to get that cooler change. So winds turn west On Thursday, they go sort of northwest to westerly, and then by Friday, they go westerly to southwesterly, and down here, southerly. In fact, it turns wintry on Friday in the southern part of New Zealand. Here's the next big high rolling on through behind it, so that makes sense. Now, as we go into the weekend, of course, it's the long weekend this weekend, and it's kicking off with that system finally falling apart. So this long weekend, it'll be an improvement on Saturday for a number of areas, although maybe not quite so much for those just in the very east. Then we've got a brief bit of dry weather coming through, a slight area of high pressure, and then perhaps by Queen's Birthday Monday, our next system with rain in it will be heading our way. But that's the forecast for the week ahead. Before I go, just to take a look at the total rainfall. This is for the next 3 days ahead. The biggest totals down here on the west coast, where you could be getting up to 300 millimetres. So that's why the Met Service warnings and watches are critical. But you go on the other side, you're talking about 2 or 3 millimetres down here around Dunedin. So the bulk of the rain on the west coast, and then also some of the heavy rain coming through over the next 24 hours, affecting some of these northern areas as well, with over 125 millimetres coming. So Met Service warnings and watches, you can find them all at weatherwatch.co.nz. Stay safe, take care. We'll see you again on Tuesday with our next update. And also, by the way, tomorrow we will also have our next Climate Watch update out later in the day, covering the month of June and the season of winter, which is just around the corner. That's all from me for today.